Oscar wasn't like the other boys at boarding school. While his classmates obsessed over cheap parties and who had the prettiest face of the week, he was buried in French literature. Voltaire and Rousseau shaped his mind like a science experiment. He was handsome, smart, spoke fluent French, basically the kind of guy who could make any girl swoon in the hallway. But there was one catch. He didn't care. To Oscar, those girls looked like kids pretending to be adults. Thanksgiving break comes around and everyone rushes to catch the train. Oscar travels with his best friend when, surprise, one of the most desired girls in school finally gets the courage to ask him out. And, like any protagonist who loves to complicate his own life, he turns her down with a smile. His friend is outraged. "You just rejected the hottest girl in school." Oscar replies calmly, "I only like mature women." Spoiler, Oscar's definition of mature will raise some eyebrows. When he gets home, Oscar reunites with his father, who's now married to Eve, an elegant, brilliant heart surgeon and, of course, the true object of Oscar's secret obsession. That's right, his dream woman is his stepmother. Somewhere, Freud is laughing. During a party, Oscar's dad tries to set him up with a girl his age, but all Oscar can do is stare at Eve, as if she were the living embodiment of every philosophy page he's ever read. But life loves irony. In the middle of the party, Oscar meets Diane, Eve's friend. She's free-spirited, modern, and works as a massage therapist. In other words, the complete opposite of his perfect stepmom. Later, forced to give a ride to the girl he'd already rejected, Oscar turns her down again, insisting he's just too different. Frustrated, he decides to drown his sorrows in a bar with a fake ID, because nothing screams maturity like committing a minor crime. And that's when Diane shows up again. She finds the drunk teenager, takes him home, and let's just say Oscar wakes up in her bed the next morning, hungover, guilty, and facing one more problem: Diane's boyfriend sitting in the living room. Luckily, the guy assumes Oscar was just there for a massage, and Diane, without a hint of shame, goes along with the lie. The next day, Oscar tries to get closer to Eve at the hospital, showing up with lunch like some modern-day Prince Charming. His dad finds it adorable. Eve does too. Until the phone rings. It's Diane, inviting herself to dinner with the family that night. Perfect! Nothing like mixing stepmom, stepmom's best friend, and one very troubled teenager at the same dinner table to guarantee the most awkward evening of the decade. At dinner, Diane drinks a little too much and starts openly flirting with Oscar in French. It might have been clever if his dad and Eve weren't right there, smiling without a clue. Oscar panics and follows her into the bathroom to beg her to stop. The result? His dad catches them in a compromising situation. When they return to the table, Diane explodes and blurts out, "We're in love." In French, it might sound poetic. In English, total disaster. The chaos peaks when Eve finally confronts Oscar. He admits he was with Diane, but confesses that deep down, it's Eve he really loves. With the patience of a saint, she tells him what he feels isn't love. It's just a teenage fantasy. And in that moment, Oscar has his awakening. Idealized love is nothing more than that, an ideal. Over time, Oscar distances himself from both Diane and Eve. He realizes that no matter how mature he thinks he is, he still has a lot to learn. And by the end of the holiday, he's back on the train to school, running into the same girl who had asked him out before. This time, though, he's a little less arrogant and a little more open to appreciating someone his own age. The moral? Not every teen romance ends like The Notebook. Sometimes it ends as a very awkward life lesson. Surprisingly, the whole film was shot in just 2 weeks on a tiny budget of only $150,000, and yet it became a cult classic. Now here's my question for you. If you were in Oscar's shoes, would you go after the stepmom or move on with someone your own age? Honestly, I'd definitely go with someone my age. I like younger girls. But what about you? Drop your answer in the comments. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.